Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So, Jaime Munguia suffered a shock knockout defeat last night to unheralded and apparently light punching Frenchman Bruno Surace. Let's talk about it. Now, I personally had never heard of Surace before this fight was made. This was supposed to be, I want to say, an easy homecoming for Jaime Munguia because it took place in Tijuana, his hometown, but it turned out to be a nightmare for him. Munguia was the aggressor throughout. Surace was backpedaling. He dropped Surace with a big left hook in round 2. It was a heavy knockdown, but Surace was able to get to his feet, see the round out, recover, and regroup. And as the fight progressed, he did start catching Munguia with counterpunches. And in fact, on one occasion, Munguia appeared to be momentarily stunned. In fact, the top-ranked commentators picked up on it, but they weren't sure whether Munguia was stunned or whether he was just momentarily off balance. In any event, there was no indication of what was to occur in round 6. Munguia once again backing Surace up to the ropes. He was stood off to Surace's left, which is actually, from a technical perspective, the right place to be if you're fighting an orthodox fighter, because if he throws a right-hand counter from that position, your opponent, that is, Surace, he's going to have to punch across his own body in order to hit the target, at which point the idea is the power of the shot should have dissipated somewhat. And also, because it has to travel across the opponent's own body, you should be able to see it, block it, maybe not take it flush. But instead, Munguia did take it flush, and it had devastating effect. Now, this is particularly disturbing because Surace, going into this fight, only had 4 knockout wins on his record out of 25 career victories. 4 knockout wins. This guy's a super middleweight. So for Munguia to be getting chinned by a guy like this, and he went down hard and he wasn't able to, well, I think he might have got up just before the count of 10, but he was in no position to continue, so the referee waved it off. For Munguia to be getting chinned by a guy like this, I think speaks to deteriorating punch resistance. And Munguia's always been a guy that gets hit with far too many flush punches. Far too many. It's been that way his whole career. And guys like that tend to start losing their punch resistance prematurely. It's like miles on the odometer. In boxing, chronological age is a factor, but miles on the clock can make you age prematurely. And I suspect that's what's happened to Jaime Munguia. The punch resistance is not what it was. He's only 28, but again, if you've been getting hit with as many big shots as he has throughout his career, and it's not just in pro fights, you have to figure that even in sparring he's been getting hit with all those shots, then your chin can start to give out on you. Now, sometimes a fighter in this position will convince themselves that they're weight drained, and in some cases they're right. But is that the case here with Munguia? Bear in mind, he started his career at junior welterweight, 140 pounds, and he's come up through the weight classes over the years. Now, he did turn pro young like many Mexican fighters do, so you have to take that into account. But even as an adult, he's competed in multiple weight classes, 154, 160, now 168. So my question is it plausible that he's weight drained and weakened at 168? I think we might be seeing the end of Jaime Munguia already, as young as he is. He's had a lot of fights, 46 to be precise, and I think he may have hit his ceiling already. With that being said, I suspect he'll probably try run it back with Surace. He might actually have the beating of him. He certainly dropped him very heavy in round 2. Maybe he'll feel like he was too gung-ho because of Surace's record, not having a lot of knockouts on there. Maybe he'll feel like he got too reckless. If he tightens things up in a rematch, perhaps he can right the wrong. I think it's possible. But moving beyond Surace, to me, the future doesn't look bright for him. One of his best assets in the past was his chin. He needed it because his defense is so leaky. And as Dwyer has said many times in his videos, I think there's only so much you can do about a fighter's defense because a lot of it is instinctive. Yes, a certain amount of it is technical, but at some point a fighter has to know instinctively when it's safe to throw punches and when it's not, where to be in the ring, which angles to be at that allow him to be safe from his opponent's punches. Is to a large extent an intuitive thing. And Munguia doesn't have it. So you can tell him to keep his hands up as much as you want. At some point, his hands have to come down in order to throw punches. And if they're coming down at the wrong moments, he's going to get clipped again and maybe knocked out again. If not by Surace in a rematch, then by somebody else. Maybe somebody better than this. Somebody who hits harder. And opponents are going to be encouraged by what Surace managed to achieve here. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Munguia's punch resistance is in decline, or do you think it's just one of those freak shots which caught him on precisely the right spot, literally right on the button, as they say? And maybe if Surace had landed that shot a dozen other times, he wouldn't have quite caught him right in the way that he did to produce a knockout. If that's your view, let me know if it was a freak shot, or whether you agree with me that Munguia's punch resistance is deteriorating. And in your opinion, what does his future look like at this stage? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm out. Are you surrounded by mindless bots in human form who adhere to the norm and blindly conform? Who swallow all the mainstream BS and actually ridicule you for questioning things? Do you wish you had more free-thinking individuals in your life to network and converse with? Well, look no further. We're right here. Come and join the Brotherhood of Reason on Patreon. You'll gain access to my weekly topical content where we take deep dives on an endless variety of subjects, as well as my vast back catalogue of podcasts, videos, interviews, movie decodings, and my Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You'll also get to talk and network with myself and hundreds of other people in our members chat. You can enjoy all this via the Patreon app or on desktop and download all my podcasts in high quality MP3. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, or simply visit patreon.com on a web browser. Then head on over to my page and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android, because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.